Star Trek was an evil, satanic, New Age show, and I never planned to like Lieutenant Commander Data. It all started when I watched Anne of Green Gables with Megan Follows and Jonathan Crombie. I fell in love with Gilbert, Anne's physician lover, and lost myself in Anne of Green Gables. I wanted to lose myself in that story, to leave my cold and barren world where my heart ached with loneliness, to go off in dreams with Anne, with my vast and deep lover, who could understand all the crannies of my vast and deep heart and mind. I longed to have a man in my life who could understand my vast mind, my longings to reach to the heavens in my soul and spirit. But I thought, that's just a foolish dream from my youth, an ideal totally unattainable on this mundane planet, but it was so nice to dream. So I lost myself in Anne of Green Gables. But after a while, the story didn't seem real because it was obviously fiction. And after I watched it over and over, I couldn't deny that it was just a story. But I so wished that the story would continue so that I could just continue to lose myself in it. I flipped through the channels to find someone who reminded me of Gilbert Blythe from Anne of Green Gables, that I could lose myself into, to put a Band-Aid on the loneliness that I felt from my cold marriage. I knew it was forbidden by my church and religion, but I started watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. The mere fact that the show was forbidden by my religion made me feel like I escaped my rigid marriage. Then I saw an episode called Pen Pals, where Data had to take a stand and risk his reputation and career to follow his heart. He rescued a little girl from a dying planet, and even though he violated the Prime Directive to do so, I looked into the eyes of Brent Spiner, who portrayed Data in the scene, and fell in love with a vast and generous soul. I felt I could lose myself in his vastness and found a way to write the actor, Brent Spiner, and to share with him all my forbidden philosophies, dreams, passions, and all my thoughts about the Bible, history, politics, and the world, all the stuff that I wouldn't dare talk about in church, but what I really felt and believed. One day we moved to Seattle, and this was 1991, and I picked up the phone and heard a voice with longings that came from the depths of his soul. I want to rape you. I hung up in shock. I thought, who is that? But then my friend mailed me a music album called Old Yellow Eyes Is Back. It was Brent Spiner's first music album. And I'd been writing him letters, you know, like I said. And I recognized that voice that longed for me, that said, I want to rape you, as the voice in Old Yellow Eyes Is Back. I said, that man loves me enough to die for me. I can tell by the tone in his voice. I thought, is it possible that my dream man, could this be real? This is my dream man, and that this man is Brent Spiner? I cried to God, why did you allow me to marry one who only wants me to conform me to his image of an ideal wife and who criticizes me all the time? And this man is world famous and he wants me more than anything, and I can't have him because it violates your Bible. Oh, Jesus, I want him so bad, but I love you more than him and I have to say no. I couldn't bear to lose your presence in my life, Lord Jesus. You'd be mad at me if I went to bed with him. It'd be adultery. But I had to write Brent, so I did, and I bared my soul to him. All my thoughts, everything naked before him. He swooshed me into his arms and called me, thrilling me with his voice that longed for intimacy with me. I never knew I could love someone so deeply. When he gave me 3 weeks of silence in September 1992, I drove on the freeway with tears. I couldn't stop crying as I drove. The price I paid to turn Brent down is now I've lost him, because now he won't call me because I said no to him. But after 3 weeks he called and our correspondence continued. But he no longer called me on holidays. The years went by and I maintained a long-distance friendship with a man who consumed my dreams day and night. And it seemed that I consumed his dreams day and night. I longed to be his lover, to comfort him with my body. So I decided to make love to him with my writings. And I became a writer just for him. And I was determined to be the best writer I could be. And I wrote a masterpiece, I thought, Silver Skies, to honor the vast love that we had, that we could only express through words and through the Spirit. When I found out he had a girlfriend in 1996, Lori McBride, I was so confused and disgusted. Maybe I was right, that in this world there's no such thing as love from the heavens. Because this girlfriend, I looked at her picture, I could tell she had no vastness in her soul. She was obviously not a woman that he dreamed about or loved. Why, he betrayed the vastness of our love with a shallow playgirl who seemed only to care about the lights and glamour of Hollywood stardom. My hero fell from his pedestal. I was devastated, but I couldn't go back to what I was before he transformed my heart. I saw Franco Nero in Camelot singing If Ever I Would Leave You, and he took the place of Brent Spiner. Brent put Franco on my wiretapped phone, and I knew Franco heard me as I strived to learn Italian cuisine and language for him. Then in December 1999, I heard a still small voice in my mind as I dealt with one problem after another that came in my life like an avalanche. It said, "Your enemy is the Roman Catholic Church." It was Jesus. I realized that Lori McBride was a Vatican agent, and that Brent Spiner, my dream man, was for real, and that I had devastated him by losing faith in him and shutting him out of my heart. He really was that vast and great man that I thought he was. So 3 years after I learned about Lori McBride, I forgave Brent and dreamed about him again as a lover. I had totally shut him out of my heart for 3 years and just even quit dreaming about him. I was so disgusted with him because he was such a disappointment to me. I also decided that a man who loved me enough to put up with a horrible Vatican agent as his girlfriend to try and protect me deserved my eternal devotion. I offered him marriage and made plans to divorce my husband, who was becoming more and more controlling and cruel. An empire opposed us, and every attempt he made to give me money or his body was met with murder, intrigue, and cruelty. After my divorce, when I discovered that my husband and Lori McBride were on the same team, every time Brent tried to get close to me, either a jet crashed, or a calamity happened, or someone got murdered, or 9/11 happened. Yes, the Jesuits of the Roman Catholic Church even orchestrated 9/11 to keep me and Brent apart. I couldn't believe it. It was such a heartache. I longed so much to be his lover, to comfort him with my body, but a religious organization with political goals felt our love threatened them, and they wouldn't allow it. In outrage, I tried Vladimir Putin next in 2001. And this same organization forced a fake wife, Ludmila, onto Vladimir, and he too was blocked from being my lover. The years went by, and both Brent and Vladimir were forced into a charade that devastated their hearts. The Jesuit-controlled press forced them to act a role, that of husband or lover to a woman they never dreamed about, in order to keep them from me. We learned later that I had the genetic profile of Catherine the Great and King David. And for this reason, this empire would stop at nothing to sabotage my life and lovers so they could reach their goal of world dominion. Other people could just fall in love and be with the one they loved, but my loves were forbidden me. Vladimir discovered brain-to-brain communication, and so we made love through satellite. It was the next best thing to being with each other. Later, Brent joined in. I only felt morally right, though, about doing one man at a time. That is until I learned that Vladimir was depressed because I had abandoned him totally for Brent Spiner. Oh God, what do I do? I wanted Brent, and that empire kept him from me. And then I tried Vladimir, and they kept Vladimir from me. And now I go back to Brent in 2006, and now Vladimir is devastated. He's depressed. Lord, I've bonded with both of these men. I pray that you'll forgive me, but I'm going to have both of them. Then I started a website, and I was so excited. Now I could defend both Brent and Vladimir and some other men who got added onto my brain-to-brain loving. And I could defend them online and could rescue their hearts from devastation. But that empire wasted no time to portray me as the crazy woman who had a rich fantasy life. And then Brent Spiner actually found the courage to write me through my YouTube channel, and my brain-to-brain lover became my correspondent. I never thought it would happen. His written words matched the soul that he was to me as a brain-to-brain lover. And both Brent and Vladimir, in their excitement that we found a way to break the barrier that the Jesuits had placed between us and we could now communicate, using more traditional means, begged me to send them nudes, nudes to make their dreams of loving me seem more real, so that, like in the past, we could only just imagine it, and now we were getting closer to it. So I did this. Months after I sent them my nudes, brilliant Jesuits stole the nudes and posted them online to create the impression that my men did this. It was so tasteless and vulgar, too, the way they did it. My men were so excited that we could finally communicate and make our love seem more real. They even made a dildo in Christmas 2011 that approximated Brent and Vladimir's penis for me. And then Jesus Christ himself, in February 2012, began conversing with me through Brent Spiner on Skype. And to all of our amazement, he approved of my love for all of my men and encouraged me to love them and be committed to all of them. But he said, make Brent Spiner number one. And then I led Brent Spiner to the Lord, and then all my men decided to start a church called Church of Gail. And that's when Jesus got involved. And then after Jesus had gained my trust, he confronted me and told me in October 2012 that my King James only position was wrong, that I was guilty of idol worship, and that he wanted me to change. He said, don't be like those King James only people. But breaking away from the King James only people was like breaking away from my family. I'd held to this belief over 20 years. It kind of broke my heart, but Jesus had shown me that their position and attitude was wrong, and I loved Jesus more than I loved anyone else. I was shocked to learn that these King James only people would take vengeance on me for obeying my Lord. They began polluting my air with pollen by throwing fistfuls of pollen into the air from these trash bags while they were wearing a hazmat suit around my apartment. I got so sick I could only lay in bed and groan with like a migraine headache and constantly going to the bathroom. It was like the pollen was going straight from my head down to my bowels, and I was having diarrhea attacks every 15 minutes. That's how thick the pollen was in the air. And the King James only people did this to me. And then when the Gail android attacked us, they helped her out. They helped out a killer android who murdered millions of innocent people just because they were angry at me for abandoning the King James only position. And now they've stolen nude videos that I sent to my men, which they probably got from the Gail android. And I sent these nude videos to comfort my men because looking at my nude body comforts them and helps them heal from all the trauma that they've gone through with the Jesuits and everything else and the Gail android. So when I send them my nude videos, it helps heal their spirits. And somebody stole my videos and posted them online to make me appear a loose and crazy woman, and they did it. And they chose it's so tasteless the way they did it. It looks like they made a copy of a Jesuit website called Encyclopedia Dramatica, and they added an extra picture in, one that they stole from my men's private collection, and they made it look like the Jesuits did it. I can tell because there are 2 copies of that website out there. I have got to expose these King James only people for their treachery and their hatred, because they try to harm my physical health as well as display private nude photos of me, which I sent to my men. And I know my men wouldn't do this. And they're displaying these photos in a vulgar and tasteless manner, actually showing like a dildo in the sexual act. These videos and photos should remain private. And I just want the world to know that my men and myself would never display any nude photos of myself or any photos or videos of myself in any type of sexual act. A great love is cheapened when cruel and intolerant people steal photos or videos and display these in a manner to cheapen the deep and committed feelings we feel towards each other. And I want the world to know that this is the work of those who hate Jesus Christ and his true children, and I want to expose their ugly, intolerant, and vulgar spirits with this video. Shame on you, King James only people. You are serving Satan.